last year when I put one of the yarn bombs up, somebody on one of the local Facebook groups commented, "So, oh look, it's Banksy's Nan." I just love the reaction that people, and knowing that people enjoy it. I've had some really lovely messages from people, especially throughout lockdown. People who are saying that they really got a lot out of being able to go and visit, or knowing that there's a yarn bomb, and it kind of makes you want to think, well, okay, I will go out and do that walk today. Things are pretty miserable. I'm stuck indoors, but it's a reason to get up and go and have a look and have a walk and take your daily exercise and things. So that's been really lovely. I've really appreciated those messages. They've been fabulous.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Big Chat. And this is a bit of a different episode for us because we're actually recording this we're recording online, and the reason we're recording online is rather exciting. It's all to do with our very special guest that I'm talking to this week. You might well have heard of this special person before, but we can't release their identity, so we thought we better do it top secret. They're so secret I can't even see them, so we're doing it via the power of the internet. And today I am absolutely delighted to be talking to the one and only Tunbridge Wells yarn bomber. Hello
Nicole.
How are you?
I'm really well, thank you very much. Quite excited, bit daunted, but quite excited. Yes, thank you.
I mean, thank you so much for coming to speak to me. As you, I am a bit investigative, and I do sort of have a little bit of a temper around and speak to people. And I must say, I've been really wanting to speak to you for some time because you just bring absolute joy to our town with your amazing creations. So thank you for agreeing to speak to us, because I know that you have to decline a few things because your identity, it's important to keep this under wraps, isn't it? Literally.
That's right. Yes, I've had a few offers for articles and that kind of thing, but if my identity can't be protected, then I can't agree to do it, because I think that's half the fun, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
It all a secret.
And I love it. And you've delivered something to me, actually. Because obviously everyone does know where I am, where the studio is. And thank you very much. I got like a very special package last night, which, whether you can see it or not, Nicole at Chatty Hatter, with love from the Tunbridge Wells Yarnbomber. And you managed to even deliver that in secret. I didn't even, the curtains were twitching. The curtains were twitching. I was like, I'm gonna spot who this is. But no, still didn't. So thank you.
We're all over the secrecy.
I know. So can I open this now? Is this for me?
Yeah, please do.
Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely for you in the studio.
Oh my word. I'm so excited about this. I have not I absolutely love it. Look at this. Look at this. This is can I mean, really?
That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. There you go.
Thank you so much. I can attach this. This is beautifully. How long did it? I mean, this is my first ever pair of Big Chat official logo lips I've ever received. Thank you so much, Tunbridge Wells Yarnbomber. They're absolutely glorious.
You're welcome.
Suzanne will be delighted. She's absolutely obsessed with anything in this style. How long did it take you to make these? They're perfect.
Oh, just a couple of hours, but you can consider yourself yarn bombed.
That is it. I am totally yarn bombed. Thank you so much. I'm going to attach this to my microphone. I think I'll do that in a sec, because that's rather special. And I think this is going to stay on for the duration now. This is definitely part of our repertoire. So thank you so much. So tell us all, I mean, how did this all come about? For those who don't know, give them a bit of a roundup while I tinker around here and don't make too much noise so our producer gets cross with me. How did, tell people what you do. If they're thinking, what is a yarn bomber? What are they going on about? What is that?
Yeah, so yarn bombing is when people decorate their local community usually with yarn, with wool, knitting or crochet creations. It's been going on for some time. But I guess for me, the fun really started, the inspiration really started at the 2012 Olympics. I saw some decorations that somebody had made in one of the towns on the East Coast, and they decorated an entire pier with figurines of the various events that Great Britain were competing in the Olympics. And it was such a beautiful piece of work and just so joyous. I thought, that's amazing. I'd love to be able to do that, but I really didn't think I had the skill to be able to do it. And my friends had tried to teach me to crochet. I've always done a little bit of knitting, but nothing spectacular. And friends tried to teach me to crochet. I was useless. I couldn't do it at all. And then one Saturday afternoon, I knew that I wouldn't be able to do what I wanted to do because I knew I wanted to yarn bomb. I wouldn't be able to learn how to do it unless I taught myself to crochet. So I stuck myself to the sofa and wouldn't move until I followed a YouTube video and learnt. I made loads of mistakes. There was yarn everywhere and ends and scissors and lots of profanity. But I got there eventually, and I made a little start.
That's amazing. That's like determination, and also just, you can tell how excited you are about it. I mean, you've done some incredible creations. Which has been your favourite? I saw the bee topper. I'm obsessed with bees. I absolutely love the bee topper. Which has been some of your favourite creations?
I guess, I suppose really that the very, very first one that I did, the reaction really surprised me. So I made 100 poppies and I attached them to the trees in my street, and went out in the dead of night to attach them all. And it just so happened that I was working from home that day, not frequent occurrence then, but I was working from home, and I heard the neighbours as they got up and went to work and school discover the poppies and how surprised they were and how pleased. I could hear the sort of exclamations all the way up the road from people being really, really pleased and surprised. And that was just unbeatable. The feeling of knowing that I'd done something that had a little bit of impact locally was amazing and spurred me on to do everything else. So I really, really loved doing that one. But the bees was really special because that was a collaboration. I love working with other people. So working with our friends over at We Love Chapel Place and the traders there was really good fun. That was excellent. Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Look, I just have to show everyone here, look.
That's perfect. That's exactly how I envisaged it. Yep, that's great.
The most beautiful thing I've ever received. Thank you so much. It's my favourite thing ever. So yes, bees have been knocked off first place and definitely taken over by my own big chat yarn bomber lips there. Thank you so much. But you also did the Easter, didn't you? You did something for Easter as well.
Yeah, I've done a couple of Easter ones. So my very first Easter was a chicken on top of our postbox.
Yeah.
And I was really lucky there actually because I got stuck on the pattern, and then I found a fantastic group of crafters called the Rebellious Crafters at the Yarns of Anarchy, and they meet at Tunbridge once a week. A fabulous group of women who really helped me out because I really was a novice and I got a bit stuck. So they really helped me, and then I was able to make my first kind of Easter yarn bomb. But I've done Peter Rabbit. And I've done the goose as well, the Jemima puddle duck, rather the duck, Jemima puddle duck as well. So and it's been good fun. You just you find different ideas, get different inspiration, and just have a go. See what you can make.
So there's a bit of a community, is there? Like you said, there's a group of people. So some people do know who you are. There's a limited few that obviously need to know who you are. I mean, but is there a community of? I mean, it's wonderful. I love it. I love the idea of that sort of the secrecy that comes behind creating that joy for just giving to people is wonderful. So how many people are in this community? It feels like
there are yarn bombers up and down the country.
Are there?
Yeah, there are yarn bombers up and down the country, yes. And I was really lucky actually recently to be included in a book all about yarn bombing and yarn bombers. It's a craze that's kind of really taken off over lockdown as well, which is really brilliant. I would encourage anyone to have a go. But there are a few locally. And I've been lucky enough to encourage a few people to start yarn bombing too. So there's a group in the surrounding villages and another lady up in I think she's in northwest Kent, and just encourage them to just give it a go. Have a try.
And do you all sort of have your own patch? You all have your own patch when you yarn bomb.
I guess.
What are you going to do if people start to
muscling in?
It's just there could be creations everywhere. We could wake up and just the whole world be yarn bombs, couldn't we? If it got great, well, I mean that'd be fabulous.
Well, yes. I mean, we've just had World Yarn Bombing Day actually on the 11th of June. So there were some beautiful creations that went up for that, really, really gorgeous, and really talented people. But and it's something that pretty much anyone can have a go at. You can yarn bomb, your local postbox or your
Yeah.
street sign, or anything. It's always it's worth giving a go.
And has anyone ever seen you putting it up or taking it down? Have you been
Oh,
spotted?
yes.
Oh, have you?
I've been bussed a couple of times.
Tell us the tale. What's happened when you've been busted?
So the very first one, there was somebody who, should we say he was on his way home from the pub? It was the dead of night. It was November. It was freezing cold. Luckily for me, he'd had sufficient numbers of beers to not really remember what I looked like. So that was lucky. That was really fortunate.
He had his beer goggles on. He didn't know where he was going.
That's very true. I think it was Jemima I was putting up in the early hours of Easter, one of the Easter mornings, and the chap who lives down the road, he saw me and wanted to chat and was really kind. But people are just so lovely. A couple of times as well, because I go out in the dead of night to install these things, so my photographs of them aren't very good. So I have to go back out during the day to take a picture of my own work. And usually when I go, there's somebody else there taking a picture. So that's been quite fun, because somebody will say, "Oh, isn't it lovely?"
Yes, it's like, isn't it lovely? Yes, it is lovely, actually. Thank you. And I'm quite partial to the odd. That's amazing. I love that. When you've gone and done some of your creations before, have you had to do any sort of go up any ladders or take? I mean, is it when you say it's in the dead of night? You've got to be a bit careful, haven't you?
I'm not over furnished in the height department.
Okay,
so
you're giving some clues away now.
I have to put a little step. I take a little step so that I can reach. Yeah, especially for Jemima, because she's quite tall.
Yeah, and so when you put these gorgeous creations, because my daughter who's 9, she last night saw that this little, obviously anything looks like a gift, she's obsessed with, and she's like, we need to open it. We need to open it now. And I said, actually, it's from the Yarn Bomber. Mummy's going to speak to her tomorrow. And she said, what's the Yarn Bomber? And I said, well, some of those amazing creations that we've seen on certain things. And she remembered so many of them, which is just beautiful. She literally remembered, lovely. Because I think I live near Langton. I think we've had one in Langton.
Yeah. Yes, that's the Village Yarn Bombers.
Is that what that is?
That one for you. Yes, they did that one for you.
Amazing. So what happened? How long do they stay where they are? Because they're so precious and gorgeous. What happens to these creations? How long do they need to be seen? Is there
Well, it sort of all depends, really. It does vary. Sometimes I need to take one down because I've got another one coming straight after it, so I'll take one down fairly quickly because I've got another one coming. But some of them have stayed for a month, and especially the ones last summer, the sun was fading them, so I had to bring them in because we had such a lovely summer last year, didn't we? And
yeah, we did.
The colours are all getting faded, so I took them down. But just I guess a few weeks.
That's amazing. And so, but do they go anywhere after that? What happens to them? Do you donate them anywhere?
I try to recycle them as much as I can.
Yeah.
So the bases get reused, and Peter Rabbit made his second appearance this Easter. So he was around last Easter, and then some neighbours asked. They got in touch with me through my Instagram page and asked would I yarn bomb their pillar box, which it was quite tight. So I recycled him, and he went for a visit over to Stevens Road. So that he got another outing.
So do you get lots of requests? I bet you get lots of requests.
I do.
Yeah,
obviously,
I can't
keep up with them all.
I'm not surprised. These are just honestly, it's my favourite thing ever. Thank you. But what's the craziest request you've had other than a giant pair of red lips?
Lips. That was quite random.
But what have you had?
So I've been asked for a bus stop recently.
Wow.
So I will have to get my stilts out for that, I think, because it's quite tall.
Yes, absolutely.
And as I say, working with the Chapel Place crowd was great fun. And before that, I did something for Melissa at Lumiere. It was lovely working with her.
Yes.
But probably the most fun was a competition winner who won a competition at Lumiere and wanted to surprise Melissa. So I made a dog, a tuxedo and cuffs So go and
Oh,
collect his
wow.
prize.
Oh, did you
That
really?
was really good fun. There was no pattern though, so that was really tricky. Had to really try and just work it out, how to make it work. But he looked absolutely gorgeous. He really did. He looked lovely.
And how many things do you think you've made, sort of individual items now? I mean, have you ever
Oh,
thought about
golly,
that?
I don't know. No, I mean it must run into hundreds now.
Yeah.
I did a topper for Tunbridge Wells in Bloom. Um, and so I wanted to do lots and lots and lots of flowers, and I did them sort of in a rainbow pattern. But there were probably about 50 flowers, 60 flowers on there alone.
Wow.
So that was quite a lot of work. And they come all over the place with me. So
Yeah.
they've been on holiday to Spain, they've been on holiday to Greece, wherever I am, I take them with me. Always check with your airline folks whether you can take scissors and a crochet hook on.
Or if you see
But yeah,
someone
that
with
was
a
allowed.
scissor and a crochet hook, they'll know it's you now. They'll be like, "Oh, I think I know who that person
Absolutely.
is."
Yeah.
So we,
Yeah.
we
So
know
yeah,
we
they've
know
been
you're not
beside the
very
pool.
tall, and we know that you carry a crochet and a pair of scissors around with you. We're getting a few clues here,
Pretty
but
much everywhere. And some cable ties too, because they're useful for fastening your yarn bombing items to whatever it is that you need to.
and what's the most bizarre thing that you've yarn bombed onto? I mean, a bus stop sounds quite out there, I'd say. And obviously Lumiere, like you mentioned, that I've seen some of those
Yeah,
that's really nice that you do
yeah.
bespoke things for people too. But what's the most unusual place or thing that you've yarn bombed
Oh,
onto?
I don't know. I suppose probably the the trees that I did
Mm.
for Valentine's Day. There must have been about 20 of those, I think. So I did every sort of tree or tree guard in the street I decorated with different designs to do with love and hearts and things and
Oh.
slogans and messages. So that was nice. And it's quite impactful as well as you look down the street. You know, February's so dreary and dull, isn't it? So to kind of look down the street and see lots of bright colours was really nice.
And
That
is
was good.
that, I get the impression that's why you like to do this, because it's just gives people joy.
Absolutely. It's totally pointless, isn't it, really? I mean, if you think about it,
Not at
it's,
all. I
it's a
mean,
totally bonkers thing
no,
to do is to
I
make things in the street. So yeah, I just love the reaction that people, and knowing that people enjoy it. I've had some really lovely messages from people, especially throughout lockdown. People who are saying that they really got a lot out of being able to go and visit, or knowing that there's a yarn bomb, and it kind of makes you want to think, well, okay, I will go out and do that walk today.
yeah.
Things are pretty miserable. I'm stuck indoors, but it's a reason to get up and go and have a look and have a walk and take your daily exercise and things. So that's been really lovely. I've really appreciated those messages. They've been fabulous.
That's very kind of you. You've got a generous heart, obviously. There. Well, how you want to stay anonymous? I know, but is that what? Tell us why. I mean, I know why, but tell us why you want to be anonymous. Why is it so important?
I think it's just better fun, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's just better fun. If you
Yeah.
don't know who's doing it and you don't know when the next one's coming and you don't know what it's going to be,
Mm.
it's a lovely surprise.
Mm.
And certainly that's some of the feedback that I've got from people too, is that they like the fact that it's a surprise, and
Yeah.
you never quite know when it's going to happen next or where.
Yeah, or where exactly. And how many people know your real identity?
Probably a few. So friends and family know that it's me.
Yeah.
And I did get completely bussed by the street party. So we had a street party, and I volunteered to kind of help with that.
Yeah.
I am a serial volunteer. It's useless. I'm terrible. I must learn to say no to things. I'm appalling. So we were sat at the table, and this lovely lady who lives along the street said, "Oh, while we're here arranging the street party, does anybody know who's doing this at the postbox?" So people said, "Oh no, I don't know." And because of being British, said absolutely nothing, and blushed from my toes up. Um, whereupon I got completely spotted by the lady who sat opposite me and went, "Oh, it's you!"
And she said that. She literally. What did you say?
And there was no getting away from it. Yeah, there was no hiding it.
Oh.
My blushes gave me away entirely. So there's a few people in the street who know that it's me. But they're
hopefully
very,
they
very good, and they
respect.
don't give it
Yeah.
away. Yeah, they're excellent guardians of the secret.
So I love that, guardians of the secret. So you've never wanted to sort of sit there and people go, "Wow, that is absolutely amazing." If you've seen that, and just to go,
Oh
"It's
no.
me, it's me."
No.
You like that more. You like
No, that's not the point at all.
no. Absolutely. Well, but that's what's so great. I think that you're doing it because of the joy that it gives other people, and in turn that gives you joy. And I'm sure it's something your family are very proud of you for as well. I mean, I bet Christmases around at your place are fabulous. That's all I can imagine. You're like the yarn bomber Santa Claus of Tunbridge Wells.
There is a lot of yarn here. I'll say that.
Is there?
There's a lot of yarn because every project needs different colours. So yeah, a bit of a yarn hoarding problem here.
So do you have a studio at
extension.
home? Do you have like a...
No. To my husband's considerable chagrin, no, I don't.
Is it like, are you like in bed at night with sort of, just rolls and rolls of wool coming off the...
It really is a bit like
is
that.
It?
Yeah, yeah, there's yarn stuffed in every available space everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere.
But it sounds like you get a lot of support from all the family. They're all...
Yeah, no, everyone's lovely, and my children are really supportive, and sometimes come and help. My daughter came out and helped me with the bee yarn bomb because we knew those pesky commuters would be coming out and seeing and spotting us soon, so we needed to be quick. So yeah, she came out with me, which was really lovely. Family are really supportive. I'm very fortunate.
And have you always been in Tunbridge? I'm not trying to find out more about you. I'm not sort of prying.
Not really.
But have you always lived in Tunbridge Wells or around this? Has this always been your home?
No, I'm not a Tunbridge Wells native at all. No. We've been here. I think we've been in St John's for about 12, 13 years. But
you're
neither
quite a
nor my
native
husband
then.
come from this area.
You're quite a native then.
Yeah. I've been adopted, I think.
Yeah, well, I think you definitely have now. I don't think you're allowed to go anywhere ever now. I think people would be very upset about that. Well, how was lockdown for you? Did you sort of talked about the joy it gave you seeing other people, but did this help you with? I mean, you do have a job, don't you? You don't need to tell anyone what it is.
I do, yeah, and I have a bit of a serious job too. So it was a bit full on in lockdown. So hard work, long hours, dealing with the impact of the pandemic on my team and on the business that I work in. That was really hard going. And so being able to use yarn bombing as an escape was just, was really helpful for me personally too.
And do you ever make clothes or anything like that? I mean, have you ever made sort of, I mean, I'm not suggesting anything here, but if what other things have you, like, is this now something that, because you're so talented, ridiculously talented, you must be able to just make anything. I mean, do you get people sort of that do know, could you just knock me up a quick cardie or a quick, pom-pom hat or something? I mean...
Yeah, sadly, I'm absolutely useless at making anything that's remotely useful. So I think the only sort of clothes type thing I've ever made is Peter Rabbit's cardigan. And I was really chuffed that I actually made a thing, But no, I can't. I've never tried really to make clothes or anything wearable. I don't think I'd know where to begin really.
Well, you're probably quite busy doing what you're doing already, because does it affect? I mean, obviously, it's not going to. You're very popular. You've got lots of people speaking to you about what you're doing, requesting things. Has it been? How has it been? Because like you say, you've got a very serious job. How has that been? Sort of, dovetailing the two, I guess, because you have been busy through lockdown, haven't you?
It's a bit of a challenge. I mean, I do find myself up till the early hours, especially, finishing off those last few bits. I think World Book Day, I don't think I went to bed that night. I stayed up all night finishing off the pesky Gruffalo. He was a bit of a challenge.
Oh, I bet.
And then got that up. But yeah, it's especially for things that are, like World Book Day, you can't miss the deadline. You've got to get it out on time. So it's definitely a lovely escape, something to do when the laptop's off and I can finish up but sometimes it does go to the wire.
And have you always, people are so supportive, but has anyone damaged anything that you've ever done? I don't like to put down on things, but have you ever had anyone?
Yeah, we've had a couple
we all
of
get
things.
Yeah.
One of the first Christmas, I made a giant Santa hat to go on top of the postbox, and that lasted, I think, until Christmas Eve, and then disappeared. But I like to think that somebody just took it and wore it and had a lot of fun with it.
I'm sure.
'Cause, I mean, it was huge. It was an enormous Santa hat. You could probably get a few people in there. So that went, and then I made in January this year, people were feeling really low. Christmas time had been really challenging. We were, about to go into another lockdown, and people were just feeling really low. So I made a rainbow cover with a little dove on the top that said, have courage and be kind, because I think we all needed a little bit of something. And unfortunately, that did go for a little walk. But luckily for me, some local people found it, knew where it belonged to, and got in touch, and I was able to reinstall it, and it stayed up for another few weeks.
That's amazing.
So yeah, these things happen.
They do, and like you say, I'm sure it's just people being a bit silly, as people can be. But the fact is, it just brings so much joy to everyone. I mean, what else have you got planned? Do you now, like you mentioned, dates and sort of not missing dates and deadlines? There's a lot of dates, isn't there? So do you have
a lot? Once you start looking, there's always a reason to yarn bomb.
So what's coming up that we might be able to sort of keep
I couldn't possibly say.
Yeah, we can't know.
But obviously, there's Christmas to think about.
Yeah.
And it's the summer. We're all going to be thinking about what we want to do with our summer holidays, where we want to go, what we want to do. The Halloween yarn bomb last year was very popular. There's a giant pumpkin and a big moon with bats on it that had reflective yarn in it. So when the headlights hit it, it reflected back at you. So that was a bit of fun. So that might be something similar to that at Halloween. That might be a nice thing to do.
Oh, that sounds so much fun.
Yeah, there's always a reason to yarn bomb.
And is this? Have you ever done anything like this before in your life? Sort of, obviously you said that you. So is it? I mean, if you could, sometimes I say to guests, I say, well, when you were 7, could you imagine yourself doing this now? It's like quite apt. When you were 7, could you imagine yourself being the Tunbridge Wells yarn bomber?
Absolutely not.
Did you have that aspiration? But was there anything that you did as a child or as a young person that sort of, because you like you say, you've got a very serious job, but you've got this really creative, joy, fun spark. It's lovely. It's two very different parts, isn't it? Have you always been a bit like that?
I guess so. I suppose for me, it's about community, and I was really fortunate. I was raised in a small village, and my parents had a really good sense of kind of community, and really did contribute a lot. We were quite well known where we lived, so I suppose I kind of grew up with that sense that you need to be making a contribution, you need to be helping, you need to be doing something. Like I said, I'm a bit of a serial volunteer as well. I'm sure there's a support group for that.
We love a serial volunteer. We talked to Dawn from Nourish last week, and she said that in her podcast. She was literally like, "I'm a serial volunteer. Just say yes to everything."
Just learn to say no, really. So yeah, I think that's where it comes from. I suppose I've always wanted to do little creative things, but never really had the confidence to have a go. I guess those two things are kind of linked together in this.
And you must feel very proud of yourself, I would hope, that you've, with everything that you're doing, because that it's a great sense of accomplishment that you've done that. It's not why you do it, but I would like to think that you feel quite proud of yourself that you've done that, because it's like you say, it's a really great contribution to community and lifting people's spirits. I mean, what's not to be proud of about that?
It's been lovely that people take the time to send messages and write on my Instagram page that they've been to visit. I do really enjoy that knowing that it's helped in some small way, or somebody's enjoyed it, or they've brought their children or walked their mum around the block to have a look at it, that kind of thing. That means a lot to me. It really does. And that people take the time and the bother to write to me to tell me, that's really nice of people to do that. Really kind. Because
I know when we spoke, you've got a certain hashtag, haven't you, that's you've got to share your hashtag, because I think it's brilliant.
I do. So I think last year when I put one of the yarn bombs up, somebody on one of the local Facebook groups commented, so, "Oh look, it's Banksy's nan," which it just made me roar, because I'm a little bit on the young side for that.
Yeah. You don't sound young enough to be Banksy's nan, is all I'm going to say.
Thank you.
I can't see you, I don't know.
So I've adopted the hashtag not Banksy's nan.
I think
hashtag
that's
not
brilliant.
Banksy's nan.
I think that's brilliant. I mean, would you, because you have, you've obviously got fans, you've obviously got people that love what you do and they get in touch with you. Do you think you would ever do anything where you just share your skills? You mentioned that you've got a couple of recruits, as it were, but do you think you might do more with this? Have you got any plans to sort of share more of what you do and how you do it?
Yeah, so from time to time I think, gosh, wouldn't it be lovely to do something on a bigger scale? And obviously I'm a bit limited about what I can do by myself. But I'd love to, reach out to others that might be interested in having a go and maybe do something together. And, it could have much more impact doing it all together across the town. That would be great fun. That would be really good.
So people can get in touch with you now. You're going to be like, that's going to be
absolutely.
it. There's going to be loads of people.
Yeah.
And I mean, I suppose because you want to remain anonymous, you can't do anything like there's the Sewing Bee, isn't there? The Great British Sewing Bee. I mean, wouldn't you want to do something like that?
I love that programme. I absolutely love it. And any of those things, anything where there's, people throwing pots or, sewing stuff, whatever it is. I'm in awe of people's talents. They're amazing, so clever. But yeah, I mean, it's the anonymity kind of, it's too great a trade-off, I think, for me. But I think being able to get in touch with people and plan something together, that'd be lovely.
Well, so people should definitely get in touch with you.
Do that.
We haven't talked much about sort of the charities work that's been tying in with this, but tell us a bit about that, because you do. Which are the charities that you like to support? Obviously, there's lots of charities, but
I mean, we're blessed, aren't we? There are lots of charities doing some amazing work in Tunbridge Wells, and we're really fortunate. But in some small way, I just thought that for the people who've enjoyed the yarn bombs that I've made might like to make a little contribution to Nourish or to the hospice.
Amazing.
From time to time, I'll just put a little label on some of my work and direct people where they can find, how they can make a little donation if they'd like to. And I mean, the traders at Chapel Place were amazing. They offered to pay for the yarn bomb, and I said, no, don't do that. Just make a donation instead. So they made donations to both those charities too, and the two charities were great, giving me their QR codes and things like that, so that anyone who's passing that had a mobile phone could, just take a quick picture and use the QR code and make a little donation. All those little pennies, they all help. It doesn't matter how great or small. So it's really lovely to be able to use that as an opportunity to raise a little bit of cash and a little bit of awareness, and link the work that I'm doing to some things that are going on locally.
And those are two charities, as you probably know, close to my heart, because the Soapbox, we support the hospice and Nourish. And it's, we were due to have raced this weekend. Obviously, even if we hadn't postponed, we wouldn't have been able to go ahead because everything got moved on. But it is great because there's so many things that people can do to help, isn't there? There's all sorts of things and they do need help, especially through lockdown.
It's been really difficult for charities not being able to use their normal fundraising means, events and things. They've lost out so much. So any little things that we can do that can give them a hand has got to be worthwhile.
I think you're going to have to make something for the Soapbox next year, please. I'm going to have to. I will make a very healthy charitable contribution to our charities, but definitely we're going to have to have something, or maybe we could have a yarn bomb corner on the track coming down and do something like that.
There we go.
It would be. I mean, I'll have to get my request in with everybody else that's requesting, because you can't say yes to everybody. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, asking you now, but no. But I mean, it's incredible, and I just think. I just love it. I just think it's really, really fabulous. Okay. And I just thank you so much, because we're all about community. And I think we're very, very lucky in our town, aren't we? Like you say, because Tunbridge Wells, as with many other towns, but Tunbridge Wells, one of the things I love about Tunbridge Wells is, we've got street artists, we've got people, the shopkeepers, like you mentioned, Lumiere, it's all these different places. They do so many things for the community, and they bring their personalities, and it's, you're bringing that together. We've got the Fringe Festival coming up, haven't we? Are you going to be doing anything with those guys? I
couldn't possibly comment.
I'm going to grill Debbie later and find out. No, I won't, because that's obviously that's the place I could just imagine something creative popping up next, possibly. But okay. So I mean, that's and do you get children as well, sort of contacting you as well, saying, "Oh, I saw this, I saw that," because you could almost do like a yarn bomb trail, couldn't you, or something in the town?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, something like that, something themed across the town would be fantastic, And we've got some really great events that happen. The some street art that happens. Also, Camden Road, they do something, don't they? And
They do.
yeah, there's all sorts of things that go on. So it'd be lovely to kind of to think about how we can join those things together and have something else
Work
that's
together.
yarn-based.
So we need more yarn bombers. In just
Definitely.
basically anyone can get into. So, and I think that's really important to get that across, actually, because I imagine people probably think, it's just Banksy's nan, and she is not going to speak to anybody else. And actually, like you're saying, you want people to get in touch because it'd be great. You could grow this into something.
If people want to get in touch, that would be really lovely,
Yeah.
and we can start plotting together how we can paint the town with yarn.
God, I might have to have a go myself. I can't talk to people. Every guest I talk to, I'm like, I want to have a go at this. This is getting very exciting. I mean, I like you say, you learn on. I don't know if I've got enough patience to literally learn from YouTube like you've done. That's pretty impressive because I'm not very good at knitting and things like that. I'm not very patient. Must need to be quite patient.
Well, I didn't think I was either. I mean, I was rubbish at it, and some very, very patient people did try to teach me, and I resisted their charms. I was hopeless.
But look at this. Look at what you're doing now. I mean, these are just beautiful. I love them. You might see me wearing them around the town now. Thank you. Who needs lip fillers when you've got a pair of these you could put on? For goodness' sake,
they are a bit plump, aren't they?
They're a bit plump. I might get a few funny looks, but they are rather fabulous. I love them. Thank you so much. If people want to find out more about you, if you've got a website, or is it all on Instagram? Where's the best place to find you?
It's just Insta. Yeah,
it's just
I've just got
Insta.
an Instagram page. It's Tunbridge Wells Yarnbomber on Instagram. So yeah, look us up, send us a message.
So look you up, send you a message, support Nourish and the hospice as much as you can.
Yes, please.
And just yes, I'm sworn to secrecy about everything I've learnt today, here and now. And thank you very, very much for, giving us a little exclusive chat, because I know we have to keep you very, very secret.
That's right. Thank you for guarding the secret. It's been lovely chatting.
Oh, it's been lovely to talk to you, and thank you for coming on the Big Chat today. Good luck with your next yarn bombing adventure.